Hey, what's up everybody? It's Stef with Killer Sites. Now I'm recording this with my cheap little webcam here. I'm just too lazy to break out the big camera and even too lazy to put out the better lighting. So you're going to have to deal with it. Anyway, who wants to see my face? So what is POC in web development? POC in web development. POC is something I totally invented. Maybe it's out there. I call it proof of concept. Proof of concept. And this is a term, proof of concept, refers to making or testing whether or not your idea, business idea, your invention, your software, whether it has any merit, whether there is a use or a demand for it. The proof of concept is kind of like an initial stage of development. So since this is much about web development and coding careers on this channel, we'll stick to the POC, the POC, when it comes to development. And it goes to a development strategy. So what I advocate for is that you concentrate on getting your project out as quickly as possible so that you can see whether or not it is viable. And if it is then viable, then you go back and you start refactoring, or if it's really crappy code to begin with, like totally crappy prototype code to begin with, it may be justified in actually writing from scratch. And you may have to, because many times proof of concept POC projects end up going nowhere, or you figure out that what you had in mind was actually not exactly what the market demanded. This is an underlying theme or idea you should try to understand and embrace. Most businesses start out with an idea that does not work, and then they shift into some other idea. This happens all the time, and more often than not. And whether it be technology or whether it be a traditional business, this is just the way it goes. Even successful businesses will be continuously reinventing themselves based on what they learn in the marketplace. So I have a good friend of mine who owns a very popular restaurant up here, one of the top 100 restaurants in a city that has about 5,000 restaurants. And they've been in the top 100 for about 20 years now. And the reason they're always in the top, one of the reasons anyway, is because they're always innovating in terms of the menu that they produce. They're always trying out new foods, new ingredients, new sources of supply. So they're in essence, their app, which is their restaurant, is in a constant state of development and in a constant state of flux. So you have to keep that in mind in terms of business. Now, of course, the cleaner the code, the easier it is to keep it up to date. But when you first are developing your POC code, your proof of concept code, it's really a shot in the dark at that point because you're just starting out. You don't have any user data. You don't have any client data to justify the business model or the code that, or the app model, rather, that you are proposing. Now, sometimes you do because you're just copying somebody else, but especially if you're trying to go to an area you're not aware of, you don't know if there's any competitors that are doing things the way you are doing, it's really a shot in the dark. So a shot in the dark type of projects, proof of concept, POC, I would suggest strongly that you just get out the app very quickly. Now, some people have suggested in the comments that, no, you got to write your code almost perfectly from the beginning. That doesn't work in reality. There's always, like somebody once said, there's crap code and there's crappier code in life, and that's the way it works. So that's it. In keeping with the theme, if you will, of this channel, where I talk about code and careers and reality of coding, and I leverage, or I go to rather, my experience of writing code for commercial sites since 1994. In fact, I wrote my very first site back in 94. I think it was late 94, early 95. I think it was late 94. I wrote it back in 1994 for my business. My business had nothing to do with technology. The opposite, in fact. I was dealing with rare fish tropical fish for zoos and aquariums and collectors, and water purification products for these same people. So it had nothing to do with technology, but my brother told me about this thing called the interwebs, and well, the interwebs, the internet and the World Wide Web. And I had no idea what it was all about until he told me about it. He said, you know what, you should build a website. What's a website, I said, and he showed me, and so I learned HTML. So there you go. That's pretty much it for this blog. I hope you can stand the crappy quality video. I just, the webcam was here. The idea was here. It was just easier to use the webcam. Ciao.